Hey, everybody. We are back for another episode of Meet the Owners. I wanted to hop on here in just a minute early because we have a couple of updates and things like that, so I wanted to get those out there. As you guys are joining, hello. Please drop where you're from, where your business is located. If you are Black-owned business, go ahead and drop the @ so that we can find and support you. But just to give you a couple of quick updates before we get started, the Q2 book will be coming out at the end of this month. Hallelujah. Q1 is on its way to our PO box so that we can get those distributed to those who ordered. You can still order copies of Q1 online in digital and print if you're interested, and we'll be opening up the pre-order for Q2 very soon. So just be on the lookout for that. Another cool thing that's starting is we are starting a blog next week. So you guys head over to our website again, look at our community section, and you'll find the blog there. We have a lot of talented writers who write for us, and so we wanted to showcase their work on a more regular basis. So we are starting this blog, and it's just going to feature a lot of different topics within the Black community. So economy, fashion, art, beauty, travel, all of that stuff, but it all has to pertain to Black culture and community. So with that being said, Culture and Community Fest is coming up August 27th. We're still looking for vendors. We're still open for sponsors. We're still looking for volunteers. You can find all that information either by messaging us, we can send it to you, or you can check out our website, click the link in the bio, and the vendor application and the volunteer sign up is there. We are going to go ahead and get started because I see that she's on. But hello to everybody who is joining, and we're going to get this started. Let's see.
Hey,
I'm going to take my glasses off because I see a giant ring in them. Hello.
hey, can you see me okay?
I can see you. Yes.
Okay.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm here. It's Monday, as always. Every Monday
Right.
is Monday, you know? Well, I am super excited to bring you on the show because I want to be able to share what you're doing with our community, because I think what you're doing is awesome, and I love it, and I'm so happy to have gotten to meet you. I really honestly I don't think we ever met in person until the Magic City Smoke and Bowl.
Yeah.
So we connected over social media. I love that for us. I feel like I've made all these like social media friends, and now I'm like just starting to like, let's go meet up somewhere. So yeah, so tell us a little bit about who you are as a person first.
Okay, so who I am as a person, well, my name is Jazz. I live in the Birmingham, Alabama area. I work as a social worker, and as you all can probably tell if you follow my page, I'm a foodie. I love to eat. I'm very passionate about trying different restaurants and just trying new things in general. And so, oh, you don't want me to get into the blog yet, just about me?
Well, that's a part of you. So you
Okay.
like food, you like, but yeah, but just a little bit about you, and then we'll jump into kind of palate for culture.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Like to eat, love to travel, love to try new things. I love to like go to festivals and just, do all kinds of fun activities.
Awesome. So yes, you started Palate for Culture, and when did you get that up and running?
So I started, I want to say July of last year. It was like late June, early July of 2021.
Okay, awesome. So you're coming up on a full year of blogging and shopping and all of that stuff. So I know like there are so many people out there who have started blogs and things like that, but what was kind of your driving force to have really taken that step into putting yourself out there in that way?
Yeah. You know what's funny? I've never been like a creative kind of person. Like I was very much like a straight through school career kind of, person. And then the pandemic came and we had to sit down for a while. And I was just like, what do I like to do? I didn't, I like to go places, and we really couldn't do that. So I started exploring more of my like creative side, like doing crafts and different things like that. And so I just kind of started feeling like something was coming. Like, I don't know, like God was preparing me for something. Like, I don't know what I'm going to be doing, but I've always been passionate about supporting Black-owned businesses. That's something that my friends and family know about me. Like, if I get them a gift, they're like, "Is this Black-owned?" Like, it's just been a passion of mine. So one day I went to Good Health to Be Hale. It's a vegan Black-owned restaurant in Bessemer, and it was literally like it just like airdropped in my head, like I should start a food blog because I'm always trying new places. I'm really passionate about supporting Black-owned businesses and just telling people about the businesses, because as soon as I found this restaurant, I texted like some people I know who are pescatarian. I was like, "Oh, you got to try this vegan spot, blah, 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 blah." And I'm like, I do this. Like, people will ask me like, "Hey, do you know somewhere to go?" So I'm like, I should just start doing this kind of formally and as a blog. And then as I continued to go through the process, I realized like I'm not really just limited to food, but also Black-owned fashion, lifestyle. So anything from candles to cardigans to, different kinds of foods. Like, I kind of talk about all of it.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think you and I kind of have a similar kind of background when it comes to the supporting Black owned, because all of my friends, because that was one of my like reasons for starting the Modern Green Book, was because everybody was like, "Well, where can we go? Like, how can we help? What can we do?" And I was like, "You guys can all go and support a Black owned business. Here's a
Right.
list. Here's what you can do to utilize all that free time we now have because of the pandemic." And I think a lot of people during the pandemic like started to tap into like their creative side or their, whatever. I mean, there was just like podcasts starting up left and right, vlogs starting up left and right, and all about different things. Now, I will say people have gotten really creative about the things that they talk about, but I am a sucker for like food. I have like a literal whole tattoo of like a fork and a knife on my wrist. So like anytime I can watch a blog about food or read something about food, I'm all about it. So I love that you started with food and then kind of expanded into like fashion and other type of Black owned products. What has been, I know since you said you started this a little bit like a year ago, what have been some of the challenges you faced? Because I know you said that creative side is not not everybody has those videographer skills or editing skills, and that's something like you kind of like have to do when you are doing like a vlog.
Honestly, just not being in my own head has been my biggest challenge. And so I'm the kind of person, like, when I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to dive into it. Like, I'm going to do all the research. And that's what I did with this. I started researching blogging, actually having the blog and the website, and like, what platform should I be on, and what should my phone settings be on to take pictures and all of that. So, I was kind of doing that process, but throughout the whole time, I'm like, what am I doing? Should I be doing this? Like, I don't even know if I'm good at this, and just, you know, kind of second guessing myself. But I feel like throughout the process, I've had like signs that I'm like doing the right thing, and like I'll like see, like I went to iPush magazine. They had like a content creator boot camp. I went to that, and like a lot of stuff they said, like they were just so helpful. And a lot of the things that they said, like my husband had been telling me, like, you should be on YouTube, or, you do really good at this. And like they just confirmed a lot of things. And they're like, you have good content. You should just be more consistent. And like you're talking to someone who has a private Instagram with like 500 followers on my Instagram that I've had since 2012. Like what do you mean I have to actually post? Like, it's just so far out of my comfort zone. Like I think I have only, personally, I have like I have Instagram. That's it. Like I don't have anything else. So it's been like a challenge to just get myself out there. But I love that it's caused me to meet people. Like I've met you. I've met so many incredible people. I'm just like, I don't know. I told myself like in my 30s, I'm just pushing myself to step out of my comfort zone. And I've been doing that. And it's been exciting and scary. Like this, I've never been on live. And I was looking at my heart rate before we started. I'm like, why does it look like I'm working out?
No, I'm not gonna lie. Like I was a little nervous to start this one too. I think I'm always a little bit more nervous to do lives with people that I have like some kind of outside connection with. You know, it's so easy for me to just be like, hey, what's up? Who are you? Blah, 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 blah. But like, if it's like somebody I know that like, I'm definitely going to run into them again in some form or fashion. And like, I do not want to embarrass myself in an interview because I don't want them to be like, you know, I did an interview and that was just like, but, you know, so I was a little nervous getting into this too. And I definitely was nervous when I first started doing these lives. But I just think, you know, maybe that's something you should consider too, is like, I always tell people, you know, try new things, especially like with social media. They're always, literally, I feel like once a week they're changing something about like the algorithm or, you know, what is the in thing to do on Instagram or YouTube or all this stuff. So I'm always like, you know, try it. If it doesn't work, if you don't like it, you don't have to do it again. But these lives, I enjoy them. I enjoy meeting people. So yeah, I can definitely see that. A lot of people who I've brought on the show have said, you know, being an entrepreneur, being a creative, like putting yourself out there is one of the hardest things. And so I completely agree with you having those like feelings, but I can tell you right now, like you're killing it and like you're putting Birmingham on the map for sure, because I don't think people, you know, even me coming from Louisville, Kentucky, I tell people, oh, I'm in Birmingham, Alabama, and they're like, what?
Right.
You know? And so I think, you know, having creatives like you out here showcasing cool things in Birmingham and beyond as well, you know, because you travel, like you said, kind of puts like a better light on this city as well, because it's like we have so much food, we have so much culture, we have so much to offer in Birmingham. And so I think a creative like you and this platform that you are creating is just, it's tremendous. It's helping everybody. You know, you're not only helping like, you know, yourself and your platform, but you're helping like all the businesses that you kind of come in contact with. So with that being said, my next question for you is like, what are some of the like success stories you've had since starting? I mean, you've been doing this for a year, but you didn't start doing the YouTube until pretty recently. So, so what kind of like was that like arch for you? Like, how did you kind of get on YouTube, and then what have been some of those success stories between making that transition from solely being on Instagram to branching out to a new platform?
Right. Well, first I want to say thank you so much for your kind words. And I feel the same way about you all. I think you're doing absolutely great work, and I'm just so excited to follow you and everything that you all are doing. I think it's phenomenal. Just want to say that. But so what was the question? Oh, branching out. Okay. Success stories. So I kind of had to get, this is going to sound crazy, but I kind of had to get in the mind state where like everything I do to me is a success, because like I said before, I wasn't doing anything like this. So the fact that I'm like putting together whole little videos and like looking up the best, you know, frames per second to film it, and I know what I'm talking, like that to me is a huge success. So I just feel like, okay, Jazz, like, look at you. And that kind of helps me to not get discouraged if I put something out and the numbers aren't what I want them to be, because I know it will come. So with that being said, so I'm also on TikTok, which was incredibly intimidating for me, because I'm like, I'm too old to be on TikTok. These kids, they be doing all this. I don't know how to do that.
Yeah, it is intimidating. I mean, it's intimidating. My sister sends me text message every time I post something on TikTok. She's like, I think you should have used this hashtag, and I think you should have used this hashtag. And I'm like, oh my gosh, am I messing up? Like, am I not doing TikTok right? I mean, it's hard, because I mean, we, you know, Instagram and Facebook were like our social medias, you know. So I definitely get that.
Yeah, I was around for the MySpace days. I don't know if you were MySpace, but like
my parents did not let me have a MySpace.
Okay. So. I was like a junior level coder on MySpace, but so I started looking at kind of the trends on TikTok versus the trends on Instagram. And I feel like we all love Instagram, but I feel like it's harder to like, I don't know if because the algorithm changes or people just don't engage as much. So I started noticing like on TikTok, I'm like, people really show love. Like in TikTok, I feel like that algorithm works harder than Kris Jenner. Like it will get your video to the right people. So I said, well, why don't I just start making like TikTok content, like actually showing my personality more on TikTok, and make, you know, Instagram content, like I'm kind of repurposing the same content for each platform. I did a video. Okay, I just want to say I made so many cute little videos showing little sandwiches and little waffles and stuff. I made one video. I went to Urban Smoke. I had a few drinks. I don't even think they weren't even my drinks. I was just taking videos of drinks some of my friends had, put it up. Do you know that video, that one video? I had less than 100 followers on like that Sunday. By that Monday, I had 1,000 followers. And now it's even more. Like in that video, not a day goes by that I don't get, like every hour I get at least, still, that was a month ago, a like, a share. It's like almost at 200,000 views. And I'm just like, so y'all just wanted to see the liquor. Like that's all I wanted. Y'all didn't want to see them waffles. So, but with that, now all my other videos have gotten so much more love, and like I'm getting more love on my stuff. And so that was a success story for me, because I'm like, oh, look at me out here doing TikToks, and I like the community over there. Like, of course, you're gonna have like trolls or different comments and stuff, but mostly it's just like, people are asking me, oh, well, where's this place? Oh, I've never heard of this, or when,
Yeah.
So I really like how engaging TikTok is. I like YouTube too. Still, working on being more consistent with YouTube. It is a beast to do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's it's that difference between like long form and short form video.
Yes.
And I was talking to another person who is a creative as well, and she was like, sometimes it's just way easier to make that 15-second video that you can edit from your phone than sitting down in front of Premiere Pro and trying to make a 15-minute video. Yeah, because Premiere Pro is hard. It's still something that I'm like, how the heck do I use? Sometimes I'm like, how did these, I watch as many YouTube people all the time. And they're like, here's how you do X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, what? Like, and I try and do it, and it just does not translate that the same way. So like, yeah, YouTube is definitely, it's something that I think is a good skill to have and a great platform to be on. But it's like always something I think, if you're not a videographer, you're not some type of tech whiz, like we're always going to be like working at it. But I do love TikTok. I do spend too much time on the platform, and I used to not like it because I was spending too much time on the platform and not posting my own content, And now that I've started to kind of get into that rhythm of posting content, I can definitely see the difference between Instagram and TikTok. And TikTok people will go to your Instagram and follow too. Like that's the cool thing too. Like they're like, how can I find more of you? And I'm like, oh, here's our website, here's our Instagram. And they're like, boom, boom, and they'll follow both. They'll go to your website and start using it. So yeah, I definitely like TikTok is something that I think all business owners should figure out how to utilize, depending on what their product or their service is. But it does work numbers, and I'm learning that. I'm trying to figure out how to utilize that for clients, because it's something that you two have to plan. I mean, it's not something you can really like off the whim kind of do, especially as a business, but it's great. Yeah.
Most definitely. And I'm getting faster at editing. Like I remember when I first started. Another thing, I've evolved too. Like I realized like I don't have to put every detail in the video itself. I can just show cute little clip and then put it in my caption, or lead them to my YouTube vlog or what have you. So I've gotten faster. Like I can make a TikTok depending on what it is now, maybe like 20 minutes, and I'm just like, look at God. Like I don't know, I just be so like looking at myself like, Jazz, look at you, girl. Like, because if you haven't known me before this, but if you knew me before this, you'd be like, what? Like, you're editing videos? And I'm like, yeah, here I am. And people who know me, they're like, I can't believe that was you on that video. Like, you sound so good. And I'm like, I think my voice is annoying, but if you say so, thank you.
No, I think that's like a thing for a lot of people. Like, you don't want to hear yourself talk. I used to be so self-conscious of that. I haven't branched out to doing like the voiceovers yet. It's like planned on my calendar, but I'm like, I'll just let the Siri voice handle what I need to say right now. Because I have to listen to myself, and I do this. I mean, growing up with a theater background, I've done commercial work and stuff like that. And I'm like, ooh, that's what I sound like on camera. That's what I sound like, But people are like, oh no, like your voice is nice, like stay listen, like, and I'm just like, all right, I think that's definitely something that a lot of people have to overcome. It's like not only seeing yourself on the camera, but also hearing yourself on the camera. Because I don't think very many people like to hear themselves talk back.
Yeah.
I definitely do not think that very many people like to hear themselves talk back. And so, Yeah. That's awesome though that you're starting to kind of figure out all those like little trends and things like that. I'm working now on figuring out how to do a lot of those like transitions and stuff. I think that's another thing that will take me probably a lot more time to do. Trial and error.
I haven't ventured out too far in transitions. I do simple ones, but like you know, when they like go like this and then they come back, they got makeup on, and I'm like, I want to learn how to do that, but it's gonna take me like a whole day, I think.
Yes. So you've had obviously, I keep on kicking this, but you have had some great success on TikTok and things like that. But what about, you know what I mean? You're obviously traveling and going to these businesses pretty regularly. So what are some of the stories you can tell about, you know, going into some of these establishments and meeting with the people?
Yeah, I really enjoy that part, especially so like I don't always like reach out beforehand. Sometimes I just go to have an authentic experience because typically, I don't know, not a lot of people don't know this, but like if I posted, that means I liked it or I had a good experience. But I typically if I have a bad experience, I'm not gonna post it. And that's just because I'm not that kind of blogger. I think there's definitely a place for that, but I don't know. Someone else's experience might be different from mine, so I don't want to like bash anyone's business. So typically, if I go, you know, if I post it, I had a good experience. But when I go and like the owners are there, or like I've had people recognize me, which is like mind blowing because I'm like, I'm literally not anybody, but okay, you know, so that's really cool. Like one example, I went to the Drink Fresh grand opening, and the owner recognized me from like when I was online, you know, posting and stuff. And then I think I posted some of his stuff before, and I actually ended up doing an interview with him, which was really great. And then now, like, if people go in there, like I know my nephew went and he's like, oh yeah, I'm taking a picture of my food for my aunt. And they're like, oh, that's your aunt. So I just think that's super cool. But like I said earlier, I've met a lot of great people, and it's just, excuse me, it's incredible to me. Like, I guess the community I'm building and meeting people. And so, you know, I don't have like, I guess one particular experience that stands out, but just overall, I just think it's all been positive.
That's great. Yeah, it's kind of like you're becoming like this local celebrity, and it was so funny when we were at the Smoke Bowl. I remember Rico like stopped us to take a picture, and he's like, "Let me take a picture of these local celebrities we have coming to talk about us." And so I think it's really fun when you can connect with people that way and they see familiar faces, because it's like, okay, like we know like you're coming in with good intention, or you're share our stuff, so they are going to like want to rally around what you're doing, because what you're doing is essentially helping them, you know.
Right.
So I think that's really cool that you've started to kind of make those connections within the Birmingham community. But I know that Birmingham is not the only place that you've been, you know. So what are some of the other places that you, as Palate for Culture, have kind of explored, or what are some places you want to go to and explore?
I feel like this year I had more travel planned than what I've done, but like flights have been really crazy. So I haven't gone everywhere that I wanted to go, you know, which is fine. But recently went to Atlanta, and I really didn't have a lot of time on my recent visit to go anywhere. But I'm like, I told my husband, like, before we leave, we have to go somewhere. I'm going to find somewhere near where we are. And that's when I went to the Atlanta Breakfast Club Chicken and Waffle Spot, which was really good. Recently went to Roatan, Honduras, which if y'all ever get a chance to go, it's absolutely beautiful. It's like a hidden gem kind of place. And they had Black-owned businesses. So I'm like, of course, I have found Black-owned businesses while on vacation. And so I recently posted this one spot that was on the beach that I went to. I have a few more places I'm going. I'm just going to say I hope I go because I don't know. These flights have been kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
I'm going to start taking trips specifically for like content and just trying places. Like I'm going to start doing that. But right now it's just kind of like whatever I have planned for the year, I'm going to prioritize going to a Black-owned business, which I was doing anyway before I started the blog, which is pretty cool that I get to do that now and highlight these places. So yeah. Oh, and places in Alabama too. Like I go to Tuscaloosa some, so I've highlighted places in Tuscaloosa. Just finding different businesses in the state as well.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And yeah, flights are crazy, stupid, expensive right now.
Yes.
And I it's like it's crazy because I was just talking to my friend because I'm bringing her down for the festival. She's
Hmm.
a photographer, and I'm like, girl, you need to get your plane tickets because the closer we get to this festival, the flight is gonna be too expensive for me to afford to pay to get you down here.
Yes.
So funny because I was talking to a friend because she just got back from Tampa and she was like, I've never seen plane like tickets be this expensive before. And she was like, and we got these early.
Yes.
So I completely agree because like that's, obviously like with the Modern Green Book, I love to travel. So
Mm.
travel is like my thing. But like with gas prices being the way that gas prices are and
Yeah.
plane tickets being as expensive as they are, I'm just like, well, all right, who has a bike that I can borrow
I
and I'll
know,
just
right?
go around the city because it's crazy. Like being somebody who does use, their vehicle or getting around like outside of, your area, it's been hard. I can only imagine what it's been like for other people who are doing similar projects to like travel outside of their cities to get that content or to meet
Yeah.
those people. But yeah, all I can say is just be checking those flights
Yeah.
Tuesday night in the
I've
middle of
had
the
some
night. They're really cheap.
I've had some cancellations too, so that's been a thing.
Mm.
So, like I think a couple months ago we had planned this trip to Denver, like I would say maybe January, and our flight kept getting canceled. And I had like we had a whole itinerary because like I'm the itinerary friend, like loose itinerary friend, not like every minute, but I found like two different black owned businesses, maybe like two or three. So I was so excited. I packed my little ring light. I was like, oh, this is going to be great. Our flight got canceled like three times. So by then we're like, maybe God is trying to tell us we don't need to go to Denver. So we ended up not going. So that has happened to me a couple times this year too. But it's cool because then I end up staying here and getting great content. So,
Yeah.
I've really learned to go with the flow. I'm structured with like I plan stuff out, but I also know like life happens, so I'm like I didn't cry too long over not going to Denver.
Mhm.
I just found somewhere here to go and we ended up having a great time, so
Yeah. I mean, I definitely think that's just the world we're in right now. And that's also just to being an entrepreneur, being a creative, it's like you kind of have to go with the flow because one, you never know how somebody's going to act when you walk into their
that's
establishment.
true.
And I'm sure you have had some stories of you coming in there and they're like, flustered because they're like, hold up, I didn't know I was going to be on camera today, or we didn't know that this was happening. So you just never know. So you have to kind of like work with the situations that are presented to you. So I love that you're
Definitely.
thinking about how to be adaptable and kind of using what's around you. Because I think a lot of people have a hard time because we all have big dreams. We all want to go. We all want to be like, I want this to go across the country nationwide, but everybody's like, well, actually, Theo, your pockets don't allow you to do that. Or like you're working in a show, so like you can't go out anywhere else right now. So like
Mhm.
use what's around you, use the people who are supporting you in your area. And I think that you are starting to really figure out who those people are for sure, who are like your strong supporters here in Birmingham.
Yeah,
For
it's
sure.
really
But
nice.
you said what?
It's nice to have the support.
Oh
It,
yeah,
yeah.
definitely. I mean, I think it shows when you do get that kind of support, it shows like the good product you have or the good,
Yeah.
blog or service or whatever it is that a person's doing when you have that support, especially support from people who don't know you, because like
Mhm.
husbands always are going to support. If they don't, then like you have to beat them up. Yeah. Like, parents are going to support, friends are going to support,
Yeah.
but they support so differently than like people who do not know you at all, and I have
That's
found that out.
true.
I found that out. Like, some people go so hard, and I'm like, who are you? Like, where are you from? Like, how can I have you? Like, can I bring you to Birmingham or
I
can I bring
know.
you to wherever I am? Because like, wow, we need some people like that, So it's great that you're finding those people who like are like your social media friends or like
Yeah.
not met before who are like gonna go hard for Palate for Culture.
Definitely, definitely. And I try not to like my husband is super supportive, but I'm like, okay, I don't want to like bug him all the time about because he's really into tech. So I'm always like, Asking him like tech questions, but I try not to like overdo it. So I definitely know what you mean, like with support. You love that when you get it from people closest to you, but it is kind of surprising when people you don't even know, they're just like so supportive. Like you were saying, the people on TikTok that go, and then you get a YouTube notification and an Instagram and you're like, oh my gosh, thank you, Janet number 3 or whatever their name is.
Right, right. Like, it's so funny. I mean, I definitely agree with that. I had somebody who posted about the Modern Green Book one day. Like, I had just met her that day. She posted about it on her TikTok. And people were like, what is this? And, everybody's starting to follow. Everybody's going to the website. So it's like those people who just, like, will go crazy for you that you don't know are, like, the most surprising and also the most, like, satisfying because it's like, okay, like, I'm actually doing something here, So what's next for Palate for Culture? Like, what else are you going to do? What's in store?
Well, one thing that I like have really been on myself about is that, so on the actual blog, I do have information about myself and what made me start Palate for Culture and just some statistics about like the wealth gap and things like that. So that's, my main blog page, but I also keep lists of places that I've tried just with my thoughts. And so I've gotten a little behind on that part. So that is something that I need to like get on top of. But I don't know. I feel like it's fun. It's more fun making videos and stuff. So I'm like, oh, I'm just going to edit this video but I really like the blog piece too. Like I like it a lot. And I've actually even changed how I do the blog because at first I was like individually doing posts about places I go. And I'm like, that's just so cumbersome. So I started just changing how I do things. I mean, I just look back at my early posts and it's only been a year and I'm like, oh, but now I'm like, okay. So, just like continuing to evolve, continuing to just put myself out there, go to more events. I have started getting invited to things, which just blows my mind. I'm like, oh my gosh. One of my friends was like, you're going to be famous. I was like, I really don't want to be famous. If the blog is famous and the businesses that I highlight are famous, that's great. But like, I am the face of it. So that's just something I do have to become more comfortable with. Because even though I'm very bubbly and talkative, I'm very much a behind the scenes person. So I love that it's getting me out of my comfort zone and everything. But so yeah, just you're going to keep seeing me. I'm just going to keep being consistent and just enjoying the process. That's what I told someone that recently is my sister-in-law. She makes content as well. And she was just like talking about how she wasn't seeing the numbers. And I said, what I do is I've learned to kind of fall in love with the process and just be not saying you get complacent, but you just keep pushing yourself and moving forward. And one day it's going to happen. And she literally texted me early in the week and she's like, I'm doing so many numbers. You're right. Just be consistent and just like have fun. I'm like, that's what I do. It's like a hobby that hopefully I will get to monetizing, one day and really like, who knows? I thought I would become a full-time entrepreneur, but who knows what the future holds? I don't know.
Yeah.
Just looking, for, oh, I see my friend. Hey, girl. She said, you're great. I'm like those people who be on live, like, you are, yeah. And then,
yeah, there was a question that was asked about the Modern Green Book, but I'll answer that after you're off because I didn't want to. We were having such a good, talk that I didn't want to like interrupt to the question that had to do with it. So yeah, I'm definitely like that. Sometimes I'm like, I don't have my glasses on because I have to take them off because they show the little ring in the glasses.
Yeah.
But yeah, but I think, obviously I love what you're doing. I think people are really starting to kind of see what it is that you do. I can't wait for us to like set up our date so we can like, so y'all be on the lookout. We're going to have a full day of just doing stuff around the city. So businesses beware because we're about to come busting your doors and we're hungry. That's for sure. We're hungry. So yeah, I'm excited about what you're doing next. I'm excited about continuing this partnership with you in different ways throughout the rest of the year and beyond that. So yeah, just one more time, or, I don't even think you said this, just introduce yourself again for those who might have joined later on, and then just tell us how we can find you and support you. And then if you have any other things you want to say about Palate for Culture, like let us know.
Okay. So I'm Jasmine. I go by Jazz, whatever you want to say. I started Palate for Culture about a year ago, which is a blog that highlights Black-owned food, fashion, lifestyle. I'm on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Pinterest, which is also on my list to
Don't
get
get me
going.
started on that. Ooh.
But yeah, all Palate for Culture, the handle Palate for Culture. One thing I didn't talk about is like how I came up with the name, because like some people have asked me about that. And so I think I told you earlier, like when I put my mind to something, I'm gonna like dive all in. So like one night I was like, I've got to come up with a name. This is when I'm doing my research phase and everything. So I really thought about like, what do I want to say? Like I feel like your name is your brand. So what do I want to portray? So I like the play on appetite, because you can have an appetite for food obviously, but just like appetite for life and culture. And I just looked up like the source.com, like, well, what are some synonyms for appetite? I like started in one place. I had like all these notes in my phone of like different names. I literally went to sleep, was dreaming about names, woke up, and I was like, palate. And most people really don't know how to spell palate, like when it comes like the palate of your tongue. Like I didn't. I thought it was spelled like it ended with ETTE. But I'm like, oh no, that's actually how you spell palate. And then for culture, and I kind of like it because it plays on of course, the foodie part, which is, I would say 75% of my content, because I be eating, but also just appetite for Black culture. So that's kind of how I came up with the name. And yeah, so find me or follow me on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all Palate for Culture.
Awesome. And you have a website, right?
Yes, palateforculture.com. I have a website,
Okay.
and just be looking for more things in the future. Some things I can't talk about. No, I'm just kidding. There's nothing I can't talk about. But it sounded good. I can't tell you
It
what
did. I was like, oh, okay. I said, are we about to get off this call and you're gonna like give me some secrets? Okay.
I
I was
can't
like,
talk about everything I'm
what's coming?
doing. But no, seriously, like I don't know, I'm being positive and optimistic. I'm just excited about where this is going to take me. And I like that I'm highlighting these businesses. I get people that tell me, which it surprises me when people I don't know are supportive, but when people I do know are like, do you know, I watch all your videos and I go to all the places you say, and I'm like, really? So I think that's cool, like the people actually go and they have good experiences at these places. So that's what's exciting for me. I am going to be more consistent on YouTube. I've got some stuff I'm editing, and just, yeah, hopefully by this time next year, I'll be traveling the country and the world trying Black owned businesses.
I love that. I love that. I'll be right there with you. All right. So
Yes,
that's the goal. We're gonna just manifest those things right now.
yes,
And a year from now, check in and I'll be like, where are you? And you're gonna be like, I'm in Italy somewhere, found a Black owned business in Italy. And I'm gonna be like, yes, well, I
yes.
am in Asia and I found one as well. So how are we gonna let's trade off. So I love that. All right, well, I'm excited that you came on the show. Thank
Thank
you for
you.
coming and talking with me and coming on Meet the Owners. This was a very like refreshing interview. Because you're not just, you are a business, yes, you are a business, but you're very different from a lot of the other businesses you bring on, because you are like very based in like the creative aspect of like what you're doing. So I love to talk to people who are doing that and who are also supporting outside of themselves. You know what I'm saying? So you
Yeah.
are using by others. So that's great. I love it. Thank you again for coming
Yeah,
on the
for having
show.
me. All right. Well, is that it?
Yeah,
Look, I
we're
don't know
done.
how this works.
Unless there's anything else you want to say, we're good to go. I'm gonna save this video and we're gonna post it, and you can
Okay.
share it as you wish.
Well, thanks so much for having me. And I'm excited to, again, continue to follow along with your journey and everything that you all are doing. I think it's awesome. And I can't wait till we meet again.
Awesome. All
Okay.
right.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, y'all. That is it for today. Again, thank you to Jazz for coming on to the show and talking with us. Looks like I have something in my hair. But tune in again. We're here just about every Monday. I don't think we have a person next week. So if you are a business owner, Black owned, please click the link in our bio, sign up. Next week, I believe, is free. If not, I think the next available date is in August. So we are booked and busy every Monday pretty much. So sign up for the Modern Green Book itself. You can get onto the link in our bio again and click submit your business. It's free to submit your business. Unfortunately, if you sign up now, you are not going to be included in our book that's coming out, just because we're already in the process of getting that designed and printed. But you will be included in next year's book and all the books to come, and you'll be available and accessible to people who check you out online. So I recommend doing that, signing up. To answer the question that was said, what is the Modern Green Book? Well, I now can say what isn't the Modern Green Book. I feel like the Modern Green Book is a lot, but it's all good things. So I started out creating a platform to support and celebrate Black-owned businesses through the history and the legacy of the Negro Motorist Green Book, which was a travel guide for Black motorists during the Jim Crow era. And we're essentially just flipping it on its head and creating this publication and platform for today's Black entrepreneurs, as well as consumers, both Black, white, anybody, consumers of any race, age, whatever, to help locate and support Black-owned businesses across now the globe. We have international businesses as well. So if you're traveling over to Nigeria, we have some there. We have one in the Philippines. We have a couple in Canada, as well as Europe. We're all over the place, and I hope that we continue to be all over the place. But we offer that service, the publications and the database, which people can go online and check out at any time, or you can order a publication to have a physical copy in your hand and keep it in your glove box. But we also offer marketing services. So businesses, small businesses who are looking for digital marketing services, we offer that to them as well to kind of help them kind of create their digital legacy, is what I like to tell people. And then along with that, we've got our 501c3 status for our foundation, and we will be starting a grant in the fall. We're giving out 4 grants a year, so applications will open up in the fall for the grant recipient to be notified in the Q1. We're still figuring out the logistics on all of that, so just stay tuned on what that looks like. And our festival is our big fundraiser for that. So if you want to support this grant, please come to the festival. Be a vendor, be a sponsor, be an attendee, be a volunteer. Anything you can do to help us is helping Black-owned businesses all over the place. And then if you want to be considered for the grant, you have to be listed with us. So do that now, so that you guys can start getting recognized now. People are frequently going to our website to look things up and see what they can find in their cities. And if you don't see your city listed, go ahead and share us with those businesses in the area, and let's get them listed as well. But thank you again for joining me for Meet the Owners. We'll be back maybe next week, if not next week, the week after. We're here every Monday after 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. So yeah. Thank you, and that's all we have for the day. Follow Palate for Culture, follow the Modern Green Book, and we're just going to keep on building this legacy. Thank you.